welcome along to today's United Kingdom Talk.
From the Mirrorball studio in Royal Berkshire, this is Chris Reardon.
Another week goes by, Easter has gone, it's come and gone, hasn't it? Oh, it's been blooming cold here, let me tell you that. Very cold here in the UK, and we had snow. We had snow last week. Now, you know, I'm not a fan of snow at all. I hate it. Horrible, white, slippery stuff. I can't understand why these people want to go skiing. For years and years, I did this little job in the French Alps. Now, what was the name of the place? Well, there were a few different places I worked in. One was Les Alpes De Hues. I am fully aware that my accent may not be correct there. You have to do a French accent, you see. Les Alpes De Hues. Something like that, I think. And also in Italy as well. It was quite a good job, really. I went there, did some DJing and comparing in one of the, or some of the Club Med resorts, which I have to say are very well run. Fantastic little job that was. And part of the deal was that I could go skiing. You know, whenever I wanted to, as long as I wasn't working. There's your ski pass. And skiing is a relatively expensive holiday. So, well worth it, you know, and I got give me a few quid as well, a few pounds, you know, some wages as well. But I did it once, and quite honestly, I don't know what all the fuss is about. You know, I managed to get from one end to the other without falling down, but that was enough for me. Couldn't quite work out why people want to traipse on the top of very cold mountains up in a ski lift. You know, it must take 20 minutes to get up the top there. I need to put these very awkward boot things. I mean, the ski boots are they've got to be the most comfortable shoes ever invented. Now, I've been ice skating. I quite like that. I haven't been for years. I have been ice skating before. The only thing, of course, with the ice skating, very difficult to stop, isn't it? I used to go hurtling towards the barrier at the end, and you put your arms out and stop like that. I was never any good at stopping. You see these people on the television and what? We have this programme here in the UK, Dancing on Ice, which is quite good. And it's just amazing how they chuck each other up in the air, and no one ever falls down, do they? Or very rarely they fall down. And they seem to stop by digging their heel in the ice. I mean, if I was the owner of the ice skating rink, I'd be fuming, dear. All that lovely ice only to be ruined by people digging their heels in. It's a liberty, that's what it is. Anyway, I can't understand these people that go skiing. They put on these long, I don't know what they are. Are they wooden or plastic things? And they go hurtling down the mountain. I mean, you don't know if you're going to fall off the edge of the mountain either, do you? I wonder how often that happens. You ever thought about that? These people that go skiing, do they ever fall off the side of the mountain? Because you can only go down certain ways, can't you? Oh, what a dreadful thought. What a way to go. Well, mind you, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? I suppose. You would be happy. Mind you, I thought I was going to go on Friday, to be honest. I don't know what happened, but my asthma. I had a very tight chest on Friday, something I've never had before. Very odd. It's okay now, it's fine now. And usually I can relieve that. It doesn't happen very often. Usually I can relieve that with my blue asthma thing, you know, that thing. But after 2 or 3 goes, it still didn't seem to be having much effect. Anyway, it's stopped now. So presumably my interior protective mechanisms swung into action. Yes, boys and girls, my body is full of it. I am full of it, as mentioned by one of the viewers on YouTube the other week. You may have seen. I am full of protective cells, which the moment any nasty bacteria or virus tries desperately to enter my body, they all come out of their little homes within my cells in my body, and they fight it off, boys and girls. They fight it. That's what that tightness was. I bet it was. There was a battle going on within my chest, and as always, my protective cells have protected me against all evilness. Anyway, back to the weather. Yeah, so we had some snow last week. I hate it. Not keen on it. Not too much here in Royal Berkshire. Other parts of the country had it a little bit worse. Indeed, when I was coming home from... Oh, no, actually, when I was going to Brighton... Because on Fridays I do 2. Do you remember? When I was going to Brighton on Friday, it was pretty. It's pouring down in one place. It's funny snow. If you're going on a long journey, you can be driving along, And 1 minute, the snow is like coming straight down onto your windscreen. It's very exciting. It's a little bit like, I should imagine, it's a little bit like driving a starship, you know, in outer space. And when you go to warp drive, as indicated in Star Trek, when you go to warp drive, all the stars come whoosh, hurtling towards you, don't they? Ah! Like that. The stars come hurtling towards you. Well, when you're driving in snow, and it was like that on Friday night, and the snow was coming hurtling straight towards me, and I did feel like I was the captain of the USS Enterprise. Of course, I could not call my starship the USS Enterprise, as there is already one. So my car will be named the UK Aygo Mark 1. UK A1. Do you like that? So there I was, driving the UKA Mark 1 through the stars and avoiding those, what are those rocks out there? Not constellations. What are those, the little rocks? Asteroids, that's it. I was avoiding the asteroids. But the thing is with snow, 1 minute you're driving and it's pouring down thick, and then you drive into nothing. And it just disappears. You look behind you and it's behind you and it's not in front of you when you're on a long journey. Anyone else experience that? I hate it. And I'm really not keen on driving in snow, because I did spin a car around once on a bit of ice. Oh, this would be about 12 years ago now, on the way home from London to Berkshire. And the funny thing was, I was only doing about 30... I was on a motorway, where the speed limit here on motorways is 70 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometres. But we don't... here in the Mirrorball studios, we don't talk kilometres and metres, dear. I mean, it's all very newfangled to me. I can't work out what a kilometre is. Don't ask me. Okay? Joy, I reckon Joy in Acton is entirely agreeing with me now, aren't you, Joy? She's got no idea what a metre is, have you, dear? No idea. She thought a metre was something that the electricity board came round and read once a week, or once every 3 months. Well, they don't even do that now, do they? You have to read your own meters. I wonder how many people lie when they send in their meter readings. My meter readings, of course, are doing very well at the moment, because we are now in March and my solar panels have started really chucking out that electricity again. Yes, you may have noticed, if we've got anyone here in the UK, you may have noticed over the last few weeks, especially if you're in London and the South East, you may have noticed in the last few weeks that your lights are brighter. Have you noticed that? Do you know why that is? Do you know, lovey? Have you got any idea at all? That is because my solar panels are making so much electricity. I am supplying most of London and the southeast of the UK with electricity. And now and again, boys and girls, I feel like I'm in a good mood, and I just turn your power up a little bit more. Just as a way of saying, thank you. Thank you for being my friend. All right? So, yes, the electricity, the solar panels are doing quite well at the moment. Although, not at the moment, of course, because it's dark now. But we're getting up to the 2 kilowatt. I have a 3 kilowatt system on the roof. Although I've never had any more than about 2.4 kilowatts of power off it. But as we go through to June, you see, as the sun rises in the sky, because of the seasons, I will make more and more electricity. So the most electricity I could ever make would be mid-June on the... Is it called the summer solstice? When we have the longest day. That is the day, and that is the day that the sun is highest in the sky. That is the day that I will produce the most electricity. So at the moment we're on the way up, and then we get to that day and it starts dropping down again. But I've noticed in the last couple of weeks it's chucking out that electricity now. You may like to know, I live in a 3-bedroomed house. Oh, by the way, YouTube viewers may notice where I've now worked out a way to run the credits at the end over pictures. How exciting is that? I mean, it's practically a proper television programme, isn't it? Obviously, without a professional presenter. But yes, I've now worked out a way to roll the credits over a picture at the very end. So there is, of course, a picture of the Mirrorball Studios, or at least outside it, so you can see what it's like around me. When I say to you I'm surrounded by pine trees, that really is the truth, and it's beautiful, beautiful. Right, now we're going to go to some emails quite early today, as we have quite a few to read you. Also, YouTube viewers, welcome along. You may have noticed I've moved the camera for today's show, so you can see a little bit more behind me. There is the mirror ball. There it is, see, behind me there. And as you can see, it's turning. Now, that is why it's called the Mirrorball Studios, because here we have a mirror ball behind me. A couple of maps on the wall. You see that little picture there? There's a picture behind me of my younger nephew, that's Jimmy, holding a cup. A couple of maps on the wall. There's a calendar as kindly sent to me by Mark from autumnlake.com. That's one of the calendars. He sent me two. That one's on the wall behind me. And there's another one on the wall downstairs. And, of course, we've got the Union Jack, all right? So you can see a little bit more today. The only thing is, I'm now quite far away from my button that I use to cough. So if I have to make a noise like, or, and I can't really get to my button today. But I thought, well, just for one show, you don't mind, do you? I thought I might try a different position of the camera now and again so you can see a little bit more what's in here. After trying, remember we tried the backdrop as well. After looking at that video, was it the last show? I think after looking at that video, I decided not a good idea because it kind of became boring. I think you need interesting things behind you. Now, my idea is, I mean, I could put the black thing up. I could put that background up, but I would put in front of it a shelf and change like little ornaments or things like that because we've you can't see the shelf today, but the shelf over there that you can usually see, I've got a lion and little flashing lights and things like that. I mean, nothing that you'd particularly want to look at, but it kind of, I think, makes the picture a little bit more interesting. What do you reckon, eh? Do let me know. There's an email to the show. Have I said hello yet? I don't think I've said hello yet. I've just started rabbiting away about nothing as usual, haven't I? Hello, Chris Reardon with you. This is United Kingdom Talk. The email address, if you ever want to join in, it's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And by the way, for those of you listening, I'm wearing denim today. Oh, you're getting excited now, aren't you? Yes, I found a nice old denim shirt. I think is this a Levi's one? Let me have a look. Yes, it is. I think it's a 5. I don't know if it's called a 501 shirt, but it's on the same style as the Levi's 501s. So I found this in the cupboard today. So that's what I'm wearing, a nice denim shirt. I do feel that later on I should possibly go and grab a horse and go for a ride and be a cowboy for the rest of the day. Yee-haw! And go around whipping things and things like that. Oh, don't start on the fetishes again. We have had, incidentally, an email in about the... Do you remember we talked about foot fetishes on last Saturday's programme? Do you remember that? Yes, foot fetishes. We've had an email in from someone who has, rather shockingly, a bit of a foot fetish. Yes. I mean, I don't mind. You know, it doesn't bother me what people do. It's entirely up to them. But the foot fetish, unfortunately, it's come from someone I know, which is a bit of a worry. Not only has it come from someone I know, but it's kind of a loose member of the family, which is very, very worrying indeed. I mean, all the secrets are coming out now, aren't they? All the secrets are coming out now, and I don't know if I should share them with you. That's the thing. All right? Once again, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is the email address. Now, hello to Doug. Hello, Dougie, who's in Ackley, IA. Now, what's IA? Is that Illinois? IA. I don't know where... I'm not sure where IA is. It's not Illinois, is it? Illinois. IA. Let me have a look at my map. I'm not sure where IA is. You'll have to tell me, Doug. Hello, Doug. And it says, Dear Chris, this is Doug from MySpace. Yes, he's. I've got MySpace. Oh, we've got it all here, dear. We got the MySpace. We got the Facebook. We got the email. Do join up. It's all great fun. If you just type in, for example, on MySpace, if you just type in Chris Reardon London, and you should see me come up on that, okay? Although I have terrible, terrible trouble finding people on MySpace. I've had people stand next to me in venues, tell me their name, and you type it in and it says person not found or something like that. I find it very, very difficult to find anyone on Facebook. Do you? Maybe there's a lack of doing it. Anyway, once again, dear Chris, this is Doug from MySpace. I just wanted to say hi again and how much I enjoy your programme. It's very kind of you to say that, sir. It only takes one person to say that and it makes all the difference. Seem to always forget about problems in my life when I'm watching you. Well, I hope so. The idea is that we make you happy. I like to try and make people smile. Sometimes it's impossible. Let me tell you this. I was working on Thursday in a place in Clapham and there was a young lad there and he was sitting... I was DJing and I'd spotted two people I know, and he was sitting near them. And I went over to say hello to the people I know and this boy was sitting there on his own. He was about, I suppose, about 20, 21. And there was a penny on the table. And I thought, oh, he looks a bit lonely there. And I like to try and make people feel welcome. And there was a penny on the table, and I'm talking to my two friends, and I says, oh, there's a penny there. And I looked at him and said, there you go, find a penny, pick it up, pass it on and share the luck. And he just looked at me blankly. You know, and it's so hard sometimes. It really is so hard to try and make someone smile. And you often wonder why these people bother to come out. Probably thought I was trying to chat him up. But I talk to anyone at all, dear. Now, Doug says, I love the show where you started talking about sharing bath towels that young, good-looking lads have used where you do your swimming. He says that was so hot. I think you might be looking into that a little bit more than I thought. And he says, I do love that little Dalek you've got sitting behind you on the shelf. Oh, well, you can't see that today, can you? Hang on, I've got it down. He is still here, don't worry. 1 minute, let me get my Dalek. We talk about anything here, don't we? There we are. Look, we've got my mini Dalek here. This is actually an alarm clock. It's a Dalek is something on television on BBC One. Doctor Who, and Daleks are one of the monsters that keep attacking Doctor Who. I don't know if this one can make it. Don't know if I can make it say anything. No. Where's the demo button? Is that it there?
You would make a good Dalek.
Yes. Listen. Let's do it again.
Exterminate.
And all the little lights on the front come up.
You are an enemy of the Daleks. You must be destroyed.
Yes, we love it.
Would make a good Dalek.
Don't it? Isn't it fantastic?
Exterminate.
There's my little Dalek that usually sits on the shelf behind me. Fantastic. I'm glad you like that. I have to put some other things on the shelves to make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe bits just around the house that you wouldn't see normally. I could bring something up from the living room. I've got a lovely clock downstairs that chimes. What's the time now, actually? We could get it to chime, I suppose, if I moved it around. Do you want me to go and get... Oh, shall we... No, we'll save it for another show. But it's a very nice clock. It is plastic, okay, but it's got the beautiful chime on it, and it's all electronic. And I got that from a TV station here called QVC. But the point is, I mean, that doesn't mean anything, does it? Does it really? But the point is, that clock is about 17 years old now, and is still working perfectly. So I'll bring that up one week and you can hear the chime on it. There's no bells. It's all electronic and there's a little speaker underneath it. But I've heard many of those electronic chimes and they're just diabolical, some of them. But the one on this particular clock is very good. So I'll bring that up maybe on the next show and you can have a look at that. And other little things on the shelf. Little trinkets. Do you like that name? Trinkets. And I've got my sunflower over there. Which I think you might have seen it. 1 minute, let me get it. I think you might have seen this one on occasions. It does singing and dancing. Look at this. Yeah. Walking on sunshine. Oh, we're walking on sunshine. Oh, yes. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Da, 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 da. I ought to give this a name, really, I think, really. It's now what you're listening to at the moment is a little like plastic flower I don't know how to make that stop now. I think it just stopped on its own eventually. When it there we are. It's a little like it is plastic and material sunflower in a pot, and it's got like pretend grass on top of it as well. And you push a button and it starts singing. So my house is full of little trinkets like that, and I do like my bits and pieces really. This is the bits and pieces studio, to be honest. Let's see. Doug also says, I also enjoy your dance mixes. I converted some of them to audio CD and listen to them in my car going to work. So I hear your voice just about every day. Or is that wise? Is that a good thing? I don't know. There's a soft spot in my dance music because of growing up in the 70s when disco was king. I don't know if I mentioned before, Doug, but I recently... Is it here? Yes, it is. Just a minute. Let me get it. Look what I got recently. 1 minute. There we are. Can you see that? Look what I've got. Village People Can't Stop the Music 12-inch version. And it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's got so much orchestrated music in it. Unlike a lot of the music today where it's all come straight off a computer, you can hear that, you know, an entire orchestra was obviously employed to make that. It's a fantastic tune. There's a lovely bit of instrumental in the middle of it. The only thing is, I got this, came from Germany. I think I bought it on eBay. And I'd been after it for years and years and years, and I just happened to type it in to eBay or one of those search engines, and this came from Germany. The only thing is, it doesn't jump. There's a bit of on the actual track itself, which I've tried to clean up with a piece of audio software, but it's kind of not doing the job very well, unfortunately. So just have to put up with that, and maybe I'll get another copy. Yeah, but I love disco music. Gloria Gaynor, Edwin Starr, and people like that. I love disco music. All right, so thanks very much for that, Doug. Much appreciated. Let's have a look at... I should give you the email address once again. By the way, there is a postal address as well. If you want to put pen to paper, write in a letter. I shall give you the postal address after our next little email here, all right? And this is from Dec. Hello, Dec, who does a... internet radio station, KERFM, don't you? It's like all DJs from all over the world on this little internet station. And he says, hi, Chris. Picking up a few gigs here and working on new album mixes and dance singles at the moment. So should be out soon. Have a listen to my radio show. So thank you for that. He says, hi, sorry, I'm reading the wrong part of the email here. Here it is. Hi, Chris. How are you doing? Thought I'd send you an email to say hello and keep doing your thing. Beat is getting bigger these days on KERFM. What a way to start off the weekend with Chris in the mix and United Kingdom talk. Catch you soon. And that's from Dec. Hello, Dec. And Dec writes. He writes in that young person's way, don't you, Dec? That all of us find so difficult to understand. My niece does the same. Look, I got a text from my niece earlier on today, actually, Tracy, who lives with Bubblegum Ben, now known as Brain Dead Ben. Remember that? I haven't spoken to Tracy this week. I'm not quite sure if how things are going there in the Tracy and Ben household, but it probably is mad as always. Now, look, here, Tracy says, hi, unks. Right, let me spell this to you. Joy, you're going to be shocked how my niece writes. Hi, unks, UNCS. That's what she calls me. There's no respect here, is there? Unks. Unks. What a cheek, dear. Just got your message, right? And she writes that, just, JST, got, GOT, your, UR, message is a full word. I must have had it on silent. What a wally. She writes WOT. What a wally. WOLLY. And then she writes, what WOT you up to? And it's the number 2. I'm just JST watching Friends at DA Mo MO. Lots of love XXX. I mean, how are we supposed to understand what you youngsters are saying? We can't work out. It's a different blooming language, isn't it? We can't understand, and Dec's doing the same thing here. Hi there, Chris. How ya doing? How's things? Thought I'd send you... Hello. I can't work it out, Dec. What are you saying? I jest, of course. I think it's great. I actually think it's quite good youngsters creating their own language. I think mainly due to text messages and that sort of thing. So thank you, Dec. Not Dec of Ant and Dec, incidentally, just Dec. Now, just have a little cough there, leant across there and through the button, so to speak. Let's say hi. What was the email I was going to start off? What was I going to do something then, wasn't I? Oh, yes, the postal address. You ready? Here comes the postal address. You can put pen to paper any time. No excuses if you haven't got internet. Because, oh, no, I can't write to him because I haven't got internet. Yes, you can. You can put a little letter in the post. And the address is Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG 429ED, United Kingdom. Once again, it's Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk. That's my sister. P.O. Box 4073. Can you hear it? Bracknell, RG 429ED, United Kingdom. All right, and that will get there. Just a second now. Hello, sis. All right, I'm just doing my show at the moment, dear. I meant to turn the phone off. Everything all right? Oh, I rang you, didn't I? What did I ring you about? Gee, I can't remember now. Can't remember what I was going to ring you about. No, can't remember. Sorry, sis. Sorry, sis. I'll ring you later. Bye-bye, darling. Bye. Bye. Sorry, that was my dear little sister there. Bless her heart. She's probably on the way to the off licence to get a few more bottles in. You know, because she is a registered alcoholic, of course. My sister. It's very sad, really. Over the years, you know, she eats more and more chocolates. She just sits on the settee most of the time, drinking gin and tonics, basically. And I mean, yeah. So when I go up to visit her, you have to walk over all these empty bottles and empty boxes of chocolates, which don't appear to have been moved for years. I mean, it's terrible, really, how it happens. But there's nothing you can do about it, really. All right. Now, I know, terrible. Let's have another email here. This one wishes to remain nameless. Okay. Now, a bit of a heart-to-heart here we're having, I think. A little bit of a heart-to-heart. It says, please don't mention my name, so that's okay. Hi, Chris. I am also gay, but mostly in the closet. Few people know about me. Even my roommate did not know till last summer, and I've been living here so many years now. He came across one of my old MySpace pages that were loaded with eye candy, or that'd be pictures of nice blokes, was it? I hope I was on there, incidentally. Would I be considered eye candy? That's the question. Am I eye candy? Well, I have to admit, I have quite a few pictures of myself on the wall, which I do like to look at occasionally. Someone said to me once, why don't you put some lovely pictures of some really nice-looking blokes up on the wall there? So I immediately went off and printed lots of pictures of myself and put them on the wall, and it's fantastic, really. Do like to quite sit here and just look at myself. Anyway. He says, and the first thing he asked me when I got home was, are you gay? But he did not have a problem with it. A lot more info on my MySpace page. Okay, I'll have a little look at that. This is from obviously someone else who's on MySpace. We've got a lot of MySpace messages this week. Now, here's the question. Also, was wondering when you first knew that you were gay. For me, it was when I was in junior high school. Just like having a switch hit. I'm gay. Ugh! That's about all from now. And that's from someone who wishes to remain nameless. So when did I know? Primary school, I think. I would have been about 11. Now, at that time, I suppose a lot of this, it was not spoken about as it is now. Here we are now, able to have a free conversation about the whole subject. Now, I'm not one of those people who walks around the streets doing marches and all that sort of thing. That doesn't really interest me at all. And it does seem to me pointless. Never quite understood all this marching around business and what have you. I don't come out and say, I am this, I am that. I just don't, you don't get straight people walking around the street. Hello, I'm straight. So, do you see what I'm saying there? It may come up in conversation. That's about it. It will come up in conversation if you're talking about something. I say, oh, are you going out with anyone yet? And I'm like, no, no need to mention that the fact that it's a bloke or anything like that. But, yeah, it was at school when I was 11, about 11 years old, maybe younger, maybe 10, 11 years old. And I knew then, really. I always thought there was something wrong with me. I thought there was something wrong with me. So I, like every other boy, was going out with girls, this, that and the other. But I kept looking at boys at the time. Not when I was 11, obviously. Well, I suppose, yeah. When do you start looking at girls? Very young age, isn't it? Same for us. Let me think. Well, I mean, I went out with girls all the time. I'm still looking at blokes at the same time. So I thought, there must be something wrong with me. Because there was no one really to talk to about it. Not like there is now. Because you see everything going on all around you. Life, society, I suppose, is much more accepting. But I never said anything to anyone. Funnily enough, as I grew older, I suppose now in my late teens and 20s, the place at which I worked, British Telecom, and I worked as a directory inquiry operator. And there were two gay blokes there. And they were always talking to me. They obviously knew something I didn't. And they were always saying, why don't you come out with us one week and this, that and the other? And I'm like, oh, no. And I would say to the girls, yeah, I think those two are trying to chat me up. But, of course, all the time, they knew they were probably trying to help me. But it's like everything. You can't really get help until you ask for it. And that goes for everything, doesn't it? Alcoholics, whatever. Same sort of thing, I suppose. So I then got married and I thought, well, get married, and then it will all be all right. Everything will sort itself out. Well, no, not really, because it just doesn't go away. It would be totally unfair to talk about the marriage thing on this programme. That would be unfair because the other side doesn't have a right of it. Well, it does have a right of reply, but is not here to tell you her side of the story. I would never go into something like that. All I will do is say to you that my marriage broke up not because of the gay thing. That was a different thing altogether. I do believe that you fall in love with the person and not what they are. No, maybe tomorrow a beautiful young lady will come into my door downstairs. Well, you don't know. It might happen. I mean, to be honest, Joy and Acton, when I met you, I was a little bit, fluttering inside the heart, dear. So that's my story, really. I think I knew around about 11 years old, and at that time there wasn't really anyone to talk to. Yeah, that's it. Round about 11. Okay? And like you, I think it was just having a switch. You kind of watch, you think, oh, he's nice, and you think, oh, no. But at that time, I'd look and I think, he's nice. Oh, no, stop that. That's not right. I think now for people, it's a lot easier. Sometimes on this programme, I do get emails from people who are not sure, and you never hear me read those out. I'm quite happy to answer those personally, and always give people help if they need it. It's just better now, I think, for all sorts of people than it was in the 70s. I think life in the 70s was easier, but on the other hand, I was a child then. I was a child in the 70s. The only thing is, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of, if you didn't fit in with certain things, certain aspects of life, it was very hard, I think. I think gay people who were obviously not my age then, but in their 20s and 30s in the 70s, had a lot harder time than they do now, as indeed did black people. It was the same for them. They had a terrible time. Such racism and all this business going on, not just black people, Chinese people, whoever. If you weren't white and straight, you didn't fit in. Now, here in the UK, and in particular London, I'm very, very pleased to say we don't have much of that at all. Of course, you have the, what I would call white extremists, I suppose, white straight extremists that don't like anyone that isn't white and straight. You do still have that, of course, everywhere. But I think it's very few and far between. If you ever come to London and you've come from a place that is a little bit racist, I won't mention countries. Sometimes I've been to different parts of the world and racism and that sort of thing does exist still. I won't mention the countries because I don't necessarily blame them. It's just that they haven't kind of... How can I put this? They haven't kind of been able to accept things yet. It's like the whole gay thing. I would not shove it down someone's throat. I am gay, accept it. I don't do that. You have to kind of wait. You have to kind of wait for things to be accepted, and eventually they are. And I think it's the same with the racism issue as well. You talk to most kids now, most little kids, teenagers, best place to see that sort of thing is to come to a club or go to a nightclub, and you see the very, very diverse amount of youngsters in there. There's no problem. There's no white, black, anti-gay business like that. I've been in clubs and they now have quite a few polysexual clubs. Now, these are clubs where straight and gay people go. I mean, part of the fun of it, to be honest, is working out who's what. Some people are obvious, some people are not. Does it matter? We're all people, aren't we? All people in the same happy family.
From the Mirrorball studio in Royal Berkshire. This is Chris Reardon. Chris Reardon.
So that's my story. Hope that's all right for you. All right? Okay, onwards. Don't forget the email address. Any comments, as always, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Let's have a quick one of these.
Across the UK and across the world. From the Mirrorball studio in Royal Berkshire, this is Chris Reardon.
I'm having to lean right over today to that button over there. Hello to Wayne. Hello, Wayne. It's Anonymous who says, hello, Chris. I attempted to watch the YouTube programme at 12 noon UK time today and was met with a notice that said, sorry, this video is no longer available. Are you having a laugh here, dear? Are we being taken off here? It's a liberty, that's what it is. I contacted YouTube's customer service call centre, located in Burma. Was it Myanmar, which is in Burma. The person answering my call said, your programmes have been blocked pending the outcome of a meeting on a complaint lodged against you by the Shirt Pressers and Hangers Union. Your comments about having shirts pressed being a waste of money was heard by several hundred dodgy employees of the Rising Sun Laundromat and Pressing Company in Tameside. Well, actually, the talk show, I have to tell you, Wayne, the talk show is no longer on Tameside. I've been taken off. Oh, God. They hate me. They hate me. The whole world hates me. They hate me. No, when the talk show is no longer on Tameside, they still play out the Beat Match show, the music show, though, okay? Because just in case you didn't know, I do also host a music show called Beat Match, all right? And basically that's just a non-stop music show. Now, you can find a link to that by going to my main website. And as always, there's a link to my main website, which is chrisreardon.co.uk, chrisreardon.co.uk. Or if you can't remember that, just go to the main United Kingdom Talk website, which is at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Once again, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. If you go there, you will find a link, direct link to my main website, and then from there onto the music show I do, which is Beat Match. It's like an hour of non-stop music I do every week. Okay, 2 days. Wayne goes on to say, 2 days later, their business has fallen off 33%, and they now receive only 1 bowl of rice per day. Is this due to my remarks? I'm shocked and horrified, dear. Shocked and horrified. I'm going to have to send chocolate biscuits in the post, aren't I? Incidentally, I hate to tell you this, but for some strange reason, on the way home from work on Wednesday... Oh, no! After my date. Do you remember having a date? Yes. After my date on Wednesday, for some reason, on the way home, it was about 11:30 at night, because we went to see a film, 10,000 BC, which I highly recommend. Great film. I don't think I'm going to have time to talk about it on today's show. 10,000 BC. If you're thinking of going to see it, go and see it. Lovely. Great film. On the way home, around about 11:30 at night, I stopped at a petrol garage. I don't know what possessed me to do it. And I bought... I bought a whole packet of McVitie's milk chocolate digestive biscuits. I don't know what possessed me to do it. I really don't. I needed those biscuits. I needed them. And I got in the petrol garage, got home, and I sat here in front of the computer and had 3/4 of the packet. It is impossible to have just a couple of biscuits out of the packet. Can't do it. Really, we'd be a lot better off if these biscuit manufacturers would sell their biscuits in 4 or 5 packs. You know, not 4 or 5 packs, but 4 or 5 biscuits in a pack. Then I wouldn't eat the whole packet, would I, dear? Oh, well, I mean, it's pointless. I keep thinking I'm trying to lose weight, right? And it's not going. It's not going. Obviously, I must be at my proper weight, I suppose, which is about 12 stone. Actually, shall I weigh myself now? I've got my mechanical scales here. 1 second. Oh, dear. Right, mechanical scales. Oh, what's that on the floor there? Oh, what that is. Oh, I've got a little plastic thing I've just found on the floor. That must have come off of something, didn't it? Do you ever find that? Things on the floor, like this little... I've got this little grey round plastic thing. So it must have come off something, mustn't it? I don't know. Right, let me weigh myself. I have been weighing in at 12 stone recently. Got my thing there. That's it, right? Right, standing on it now. Oh, hang on. 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, that's 12 again. Is it 12? Yeah. 12. 12 and a bit, it says. And last week, I went jogging every single day for an hour. And I went swimming 5 days out of the 7. And it didn't budge. It didn't budge. So I'm going to assume now that that is my proper weight. I don't think I'm overeating. Now and again I have the odd bar of chocolate. but I eat reasonably healthy, so I'm going to assume. And in all honesty, I've kind of given up. I've got to be honest with you. I've kind of given up. You get these people, you know, that go on about their weight. I was the same. You may have noticed, I'm sure you've noticed that, I haven't mentioned the weight much because I don't bother weighing myself really anymore. I sort of look and think, oh, that's all right, that'll do, and that's that. You can't be with it, can you, eh? Oh, there we are. Now, Wayne also says, if business, we're talking about the Rising Sun laundromat, remember, where business has fallen off 33%, possibly due to a comment I made about shirts being pressed being a waste of money. Well, buy denim ones. Look, this hasn't been ironed for about 15 years. It's still perfect. Not a single crease on it. I wish the same could be said about my face, actually. Actually, there's a young lady who comes in to sing at the karaoke nights we do at the Golden Lion every Tuesday night. Her name's Alison, and she's had a lot of Botox. 37 years old, but and I was watching her the other. She's a lovely person, lovely person. There is not a line on her face. Not a line. But I was kind of watching her the other day while she was singing, and the only part of her face that moves is her mouth. It's true. It looks quite good, actually. But I was watching you know, like a couple of people have mentioned before on here, my facial expressions. The beauty of having the show now on YouTube as well as on podcast and on radio is that you can now see the facial expressions. Well, when she was singing, I was watching her sing on Tuesday, and the only I don't mean this in a nasty way at all, but the only part of her face that moves is her mouth. It's just like this opening that watch her singing. So I know people go on and on at me having Botox. My friend Grant, who's also assistant manager at the place I work in, Clapham, and I do quite like him. And he says, if you have Botox, I'll go out with you. And I thought, no, absolutely not. What a cheek! Ain't it a cheek? And everything is done on face value, dear. If you have Botox, I might go out with you. How dare you? But I'm not having any of that. So, you know, we're put up with the creases on the face, which actually, on the YouTube videos, are not too prominent. See, the worst thing that YouTube could do now would be to bring out high-definition webcams, because you'd see every little pore and every spot and every line on the face. We're not having any of that. No, thank you. Back to the emails. Let's see. Wayne says, if business declines any further, this is of course at the Rising Sun Laundromat and Pressing Company in Tameside, if business declines any further, management will start charging the employees rental on the cots and pillows they sleep on 4 hours per day. You must be careful when you say during these nervous economic times, lest the next monetary crisis goes down in history as the Reardon recession. Oh my God. Time for me to go sell pencils and polish shoes at my neighbourhood bus stop. And that's from Wayne. Thank you, Wayne. Great email as always. All right. Can I just go back to that whole that little gay thing we were talking about there? Yeah, if you ever wonder, if we've got anyone ever who wants to write privately to me, maybe you want a bit of help, you're not quite sure about things, anything like that, always I will try and answer your emails personally, okay? So don't worry about that. If you've got no one to talk to, they go, oh, I'm not sure about this, who can I... Send me an email. You never know, might be able to answer you and help you there, okay? Now, there was another bit I was going to refer to on Wayne's email. Oh, yes, Wayne. Yeah, as I said, the chat show's no longer on Tameside. Now, the reason is... the guy who runs that, very nice chap, Andy, he quite truthfully explained to me that this particular programme is a global show. Okay? It's more of a global show than a local one. Now, Tameside is a small local radio station. And really, when you hear all the emails coming in from lovely people like yourselves in America, Australia, China, all over the world, and indeed here, of course, in the UK, Spain, Norway, Switzerland. Where else have we had from? All over. We've had Russia as well, haven't we? And they're coming from all over the world. So this programme is more geared towards a kind of global audience. And when it was on Tameside, it really didn't fit in. You see, when you're on a local station, you would expect emails to come in and perhaps phone calls as well from local people there. And you would be talking about local things. This programme obviously is more geared towards a global thing, and that's why, because it didn't really fit in. So, and I didn't have any problem with that at all. As soon as he told me, I understood that, so that's cool. Hello to Suko, just a quick one from Suko. Hope you're okay, Suko, not working too hard. All right, darling. And I was mentioning the different coloured shirts, and Suko reckons green is my colour. Now, you're not the first one to say that, Suko. My eyes are kind of a little bit green. Can you see? I'll just come closer to the camera. I've got greeny coloured eyes. Suko reckons green is my colour. Suko, it's funny that you should say that, actually. Green was my mum's favourite colour. I have also got a little... If I can just get this. I've got a little thing hanging around my neck. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that because it's very, very small. I don't think you can, actually. 1 minute, let me get a bit closer there. 1 second there we are. Now, can you see that? Yes, you can. There we are. It's probably a bit blurred. All right. Now, that's a little... Around my neck I have a little stone. It's an emerald. And years ago, I bought this for my mum way back in the year 2000, I think it was, when I was in Florida. And I bought this from one of the jewellers there because green was her favourite colour. Funny thing is, I'd never ever bought my mum jewellery before. It was always smelly things and stuff like that. Mum, she never wore perfume, actually, or any makeup at all. Maybe a bit of lipstick, that was about it. And jewellery, I'd never bought her jewellery, so I bought this in Florida. And I wear this all the time now. And a few months later, she gave it back to me in hospital just before she died. She says, I want you to look after this for me. So I always have this on. I've also got Mum's little gold cross downstairs, which I think I mentioned before. I'm a funny old thing, really. I don't feel I'm good enough to wear that. But it does go on. If I think I might have a little bit of an issue with someone, or not a physical fight or anything like that, but if I think I might have a difference of opinion with someone, okay, and I've got to go and meet them, I will put that cross on. Don't ask me why. I just do. All right. So I hope you like that, Suko. My little emerald around my neck. It's not really worth anything. It's of course of great sentimental value to me, that. Hello to Joe. Excuse me. And Joe writes, personal, I'd guess. I think you were talking about Scott. I think I remember he was the guy in Washington State in America. Anyway, he wanted to do his own podcast, and you talked to him about not building a show around email or communications with listeners. Great, great, great advice. He says, I don't know how many people listen to your show, but I'm guessing you have an extremely active group when it comes to communicating with you. You have created that rapport with your audience. It's cool, and it has to make you feel great. Yes, it does. There's nothing better than getting an email in on one of the many things that we talk to on the show. It's fantastic. Now and again, you get the right subjects and you'll get a lot of emails in around the right thing. He says, it's cool and it has to make you feel great. I rarely, if any, hear from anyone. Makes you wonder if you suck or not, you know. Yeah. Well, no. It takes a while to build things up, Joe. That's the thing. He says, but I'm here still having great fun doing my podcast and people still listen, so what else could you ask for, right? Well, there you are. There you are. He says, anyway, good advice to the lad from Washington. It's also very nice of you to offer your advice and expertise to people as they get started. You are the man. I don't know if I'm I don't think I'm an expert. Certainly not an expert on many things, but I have a bit of experience. And that's what I like to try and pass on, as indeed people tried to pass on to me over the years. So I'm just continuing it, you see. It's a shame, isn't it, that we can't learn from our parents' experience. You know what I mean? How many times when we were younger did mum or dad say, do it this way, so we did it the other way? And now you wish you'd done it their way, isn't it? Why can't we do that when we're younger? But now, anything, and whatever subject, if I've got a bit of experience, I'll pass it on. Whether you take it or not is up to you. It might not always be the right thing to do, what I've done. But there you are. And that goes for a variety of different things. He says, by the way, did this guy ever do any of your shows? Oh, hang on. But did this guy ever do any shows? Remember what it was called? How to find it? Your pal from Joe. No, I don't, actually. I can't remember now. Scott. That was it, Scott. Oh, yes, Scott. Did you ever do any shows, Scott? Are you still watching or listening? Do let us know, OK, on the email. Then I can have a listen. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'm nearly out of time. Yeah, you should never build a show on emails coming in. However, when emails do come in, it's fantastic. Now, I've run out of time to say hello to Michael and indeed do our fetish email. I'm sorry. Oh, you see, I keep you hanging on, don't I? I keep you hanging on. Time for me to go. Thanks always for listening and watching the show today. There's another one in just a couple of days' time. Don't forget the email address, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye-bye now.